Hey guys, welcome to the next video on Python tutorial for beginners. In the last video, we have seen how to create a file in Python and how to write content in that file in Python. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how you can read the content of a text file using Python. Now if you remember, in the last video, I have told you that you can use this open function to open any text file, and this open function takes two arguments. First is the path of the file with the exact name of the file. So because this demo.txt file is in the current folder in which I'm working in, that's why I haven't provided any exact path. I can just give the file name here. But if you have the full path, then you can provide, for example, c:\/ and then whatever is the folder name and then the file name. So either you can provide the exact path of this file with the file name, or you can provide the file name if this file is present in the same directory in which your Python script is there. Now the second argument which this open function takes is the mode of opening this file. So we have seen in the last video, when we write W here or A here, that means we want to write or append to the file. Now in order to read from the file, this mode here should be R, which is the read mode. In the last video, we have seen this table in which we have seen that we can use this R or R plus mode in order to read the file, or if you want to read and write at the same time, you can use this R plus mode. Now if you see here, I have also written here that R is the default mode. So when I don't give any argument here as the second argument, which is for the mode, then also the default mode is the read mode. So let's see how we can read this file, which is demo.txt file, and the content of file is shown here. So in order to read the file, you use the file handler and then use the function, for example, read, which is used to read the whole file. Now in order to print the content of the file, you need to use this print function. So this fh.read will provide the string, and then using this print function, we can print that string. So let's run the code and let's see what happens. So you can see it prints the whole content of the file. Now let me minimize this window once again. Now let's say if you provide some file path which doesn't exist. So this file name doesn't exist in the current folder, and when I try to read this file, let's see what happens. So it's going to throw an error, and this error says that no such file or directory. So if you try to open a file which doesn't exist, it will throw an error. So you need to give the exact name of the file in order to read it. Now here we can also be more specific, and we can also say that this is a read mode in which I want to open this file, and once again when I run the code, it's going to read the content of this file. Now let's say I just want to read the first word of first line here. So let's say I want to just read the first 4 characters of this line 1, then I can just write 4 here, which will read the first 4 characters of the line 1. Now if we just want to read the first 2 words of this line 1, then you can see the number of characters here, 4 for this, and then there is a space, so 5 characters, and then is 2 characters more, so 5 plus 2, 7. So when we write 7 here, then it's going to read the first 2 words of this line 1. Now let's say I want to read the whole line. So instead of some words or some characters, I want to read the whole line. Then I can use a function called readLine, and this readLine function is going to read the first line of the text which is present in my file. So I'm going to just run the code, and you can see it reads the first line of my text file. Now if you want to read the next line, then you need to use this readLine function once again, and when I run the code once again, it's going to print the second line, and so on. So if you want to print the 3 lines, then you use this function 3 times. Now let's say you want to read some characters of the line 1, then you can once again write the number of character which you want to read and then run the code, and it will print the first 4 character of the first line. And you will observe that when I use this read line function once again, the string starts from the ending of the first line. So in the first line, we have just used the first 4 characters of the first line. Now pointer will be set to the end of this first 4 characters. So when you use the read line function once again, it's going to start where the first line has ended. So first line has ended at the end of the 4th character, and then it's going to read the space and then all the line characters which are there. So in the second read line statement, it has printed this kind of text which is after the first 4 characters. And in the third read line, because we haven't provided any argument here, so it has printed the whole line here. So let me minimize this. Now let's say you want to read all the lines of this file in the form of the list. So you want to read the 10 lines of this file in the form of list. You can use a function called dot read lines. So here you just need to write dot read lines, and this function is going to give you the list of every line in the text. So let me run the code first of all, and you can see this is the list which starts from a square bracket, and the first element of the list is the first line with the \n, which is the line break, comma. The second element of the list is the second line of the text which we are reading from here. So now we know that this read lines function returns the list. So we can also call some index of this list. So let's say I just want to read the 5th line of this text, then I can just write index 4 because index starts from 0, right? So let me run the code once again, and it prints this line which is at the line 5. Now let's say I want to read the last line. I can just say 9, and it's going to print the line number 10 of your text file. Let me minimize this once again. Now let's say you want to read all the lines of this text one by one and do some operations on each and every line one by one. So you can use a for loop for that to iterate over the lines one by one. So for, let's say, line in your fh, which is the file handler, and then you can print the line one by one. So you can call this variable which is line here, and now let's run the code, and it's going to iterate over this text line by line, and every line is printed one by one using this print line statement. So let's say you want to count the number of characters in every line. You can use this function which is len function, which is used to count the length of a string. And when I run this code, now it's just going to print the number of characters in every line. Now once again, let's say you want to count the number of words in every line. So we can use a function on this line variable, which is a function called split. So line dot split, which is going to split your line on the basis of character you provide as an argument here. So let's say I want to split the line on the basis of a space. So let me run the code once again, and now you will see that it's going to give me the list of each and every word of every line. So this is the first element of the first list, and then the second element, third element, and fourth element, and the fifth element. So if you want to count the number of words in every line, then once again we can enclose this code into a function called len. Okay, so this length is going to give you the length of this list, and when I run the code once again, it's going to print the number of words in every line of this text file. So if you want to count the number of words in every line, you can split the words using the space, and then using this len function, you can just find the length of the list which is returned by this split function. Or if you want to just see the list of words in every line, then you can just use this function without the len function, and it's going to give you the list of each and every word of every line of your text file. And of course, to make things easier, you can also use this with notation, which I have also told you in the last video. So you can write with and then this open function, and in the open function you give these two arguments, which is the name of the file and the mode, and then you can use as fh, for example, and then you can execute whatever code you want to execute using this file handler. For example, once again, I want to read the content of the file once again. So using this with statement, you don't need to use this fh.close function, because this with function is going to take care of closing of this handler by itself. So this whole code is equivalent to the code which you write whenever you use the try finally block with this code also. So this is also possible. So let me just remove this code and let's run the code once again. And it's going to give me the same result as we have seen earlier. So in this way, you can read the text files in Python. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.